Sorry about that. Didn't mean to make the noise. I hope I'm sounding all right. Oh, I spelled that wrong. I'll fix that right now. NDEs. So tonight on the Squatch Zone, hi Amanda. We are going to be talking visions, dreams, and NDEs. Now, I know a lot of people have dreams, and some people have visions. Some people have visions in their dreams. Not a lot of people have NDEs, a near death experience. How's it going, Connie? I'm in the zone. I'm in the Squatch zone. I hope it's not echoing too bad. I tried to set the settings on the mixer. I've been kind of like messing around with everything. Hi, James and Cold Warrior. You're ready to crash. Uh-oh. That's not good. But yeah, so, on vacation in Washington, D.C., that's a really good place to be on vacation right now, man. Trump is smashing it from what I understand. Like, I was checking on Q a little while ago, and he hadn't been posting in a while. And then he posted up a bunch of obscure kind of looking pictures of the Apple building and stuff like that. And I was like, what is he getting at, And then he was silence again, And then all of a sudden, a big list comes out of FBI, DOJ, a bunch of people fired, right? Yes, drain that swamp. I'm so happy. Right on, Cold Warrior. I sure will, man. I got a few stories. I don't have my phone hooked up. I probably could go get it, though, and hook it up here if you guys wanted to call in with anything. We'll get started, and then, you guys can let me know if you want to or not. But only I can read the chat just fine. But I know a lot of people have dreams and visions, and I wanted to share an NDE that one of my friends shared with me the other day, and it's an awesome near-death experience. And then I've been having these dreams, but only they're visions also. In fact, I had a dream, and I really didn't like the dream, okay? And I woke up, and I didn't sleep all that good because the dream was like really like, it was one of those ones where you just want to wake up out of it, and you kind of know it's a dream, you know what I mean? And it was realistic and in color and the whole thing. And normally I don't dream at all. So when I dream, I pay attention, So I was having this long dream. It seemed long anyways. I have no idea how long it, was. But I got up and I had a couple of cups of coffee, and I came in here and I painted some more, and I have to do a little bit at a time. But I'm done. Yay! Now I'm ready for carpet. I get to tell the landlady tomorrow when we pay the rent to send her ex-husband in with all the carpeting. He's a contractor that does carpeting, so he'll be carpeting in here. I do have a little bit of trim, and then if you watch my video I put up a little bit ago, I have a question for everybody on how should I paint the trim and the doors. Me and my wife are going back and forth on, should the trim be white and the doors green, or should the trim be green and then the doors have highlight green or turquoise or whatever the color is. I'm colorblind. They all look color to me. I could care less really about colors. As long as you pay me, I'll paint any color you want. But at least that's my motto. But only, everybody comment down below under that video what you think. And Pam told me that I was talking about like scraping off the goobers, the drips, like that are 16 years old, right? 16 years old is the paint job that was in this room. And I really never paid attention that close to things. And oh my God, like when I was in, my grandfather was a painters union rep and a painter all his life. So like by the time I was 5 years old, I was sanding and rolling. And by the time I was 12, I was like a master brush and roller guy, right? And I joined the painters union, went through the apprenticeship and became a journeyman painter. And I've sprayed thousands of gallons of paint and blown, thousands of pounds of sandblasting. But I'm in here and I'm looking at all these goobers and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't even hardly deal with it because, somebody would have slapped me silly if I would have left even one goober like that. But there's runs and goobers all over everything, and I was painting over them and just leaving them there. But it was bugging, I have, what is it, OCD, but I have it so bad when I paint, it's CDO, right? I mean, I'm really bad when it's painting, but hey, Adolf, what's happening? And Aaron and Amanda. Now, I know. Well, me and my wife, we were talking, like after the carpet's in, just because there's carpet doesn't mean I can't work on stuff. I could throw a drop cloth down and get a scraper and a sander and go for it, and I don't drip paint like people, you know what I mean? Like my wife used to get mad at me because every once in a while, after a year, I would have like some drops of paint on my clothes. Every piece of clothing I had paint on it, at least somewhere, where I would bump into it on my arm or, drip it on my pants or shoe or something. But I mean, it wouldn't be like coated with paint, but almost everything I had paint on it while I was a painter. But yeah, it drives me nuts. Well, anyways, tonight isn't about that, but I do want everybody to go and watch the video and give me comments on what you think on how should we proceed with this. We're gonna go ahead and let the carpet guy come in and finish the carpeting and then move in here, and then I'm gonna rip the carpet out of the other room that we're sleeping in now, the extra bedroom, the motel room, and then that will become my permanent place, and I can just walk in, turn this stuff on, and go. And I can't wait. It is so hard to keep from broadcasting, but believe it or not, the painting is kicking my ass, okay? Like, by the time I get done painting and sanding and everything, I fall down and go to sleep. And actually, while I was painting today, I was finishing this third coat on this one wall, and I was thinking about the dreams, right? Like, I had that one dream. I got up, I had some coffee, I did my day, I went to the store, took my wife out, shopping, and came back and said I want to take a nap, and I laid down and I fell into the dream that I was having in the morning, right where it left off. And I continued in that dream, and it was about Bigfoots, believe it or not, Bigfoots and aliens. And I was really tripping, on that. And I was thinking about that while I was painting. And then, like, I was telling my friend, we were chatting, and I was telling him about it. He lives near San Francisco, and he does ghost walks. If you're ever up there, I'll find the link for it, and I'll put it in the down in the section, where you put the information. I'll put all his information so you can go on his ghost walk. In fact, he's looking for a Bigfoot person. They're having a Paracon somewhere in Nevada, one of the haunted cities in Nevada, right outside of Reno. And they're looking for a Bigfoot person to give a talk on Bigfoot. So if any of you guys are interested in that, put your comment down and tell or email me, or if you're my Facebook friend, message me on Facebook. They're looking for somebody that isn't afraid to stand up in front of a lot of people and talk about Bigfoot. Okay. So I want to go and do it, and I may be able to. I think it's September is when he's looking for that. But we're chatting, and we started talking about ever since I died, I'm sensitive to people, and I could feel people's feelings, and I can tell when people are sick to death, like they're going to die. I can see it right in their eyes, and it could be months before they're going to die. And I can tell when people are really hurt ever since I call it a near-death experience, but it was a death experience, and I came back to life, right? And then he started telling me about his near-death experience, and it was amazing, right? I talked to a lot of people, and I've talked to a lot of people that have these NDEs, and what's kind of trippy about it is they're similar, but they're different. You know what I mean? Like there's similarities that everybody sees and hears and experiences, but then every one of them is unique also in a way to them, and I think that's what, because everybody is different, so your experience is going to be different. So his name is Devin, and he was rushed to the emergency room, and he got up for some reason off the gurney in the ER, walked by his wife, and he went wandering around. And he decided he was going to go, he just wanted to check things out. And when he went back to his gurney, little bed in the, I guess whatever you call it, in the ER, he walked up and he seen his wife, and he started to talk to her, but she didn't look at him. And then he realized that somebody was in his bed, and he looked down and he seen his face, and that is when he freaked out about that time, and he got sucked. He started sucking out, out of the, into space, right? He just started like sucking up into space. And he wound up in a valley. That's where I was, in a valley, right? But only he was sitting on a red velvet couch. And as he sat there looking at this valley, and the colors and sounds, we both had that kind of experience, in this valley. Everything's like on, undescribable colors, smells. It's weird that you could smell. I know you don't have any lungs or anything, but all your senses work, right? It's really a trip, okay? And he sensed these three guys come up behind him, and they started talking to him, and they asked him if he was, like, done with his life on earth. Was he ready to go there, and then they asked him about his son. It was like, whoa, that kind of reminded me, that's what they did to me, is they asked me about my family, my kids and stuff. And soon as they did that, I wasn't done. I wanted to go back, and same as him, as soon as his thoughts went back to his family, then, all of a sudden he felt himself being like drawn back to his body, and then he slammed into his body. And it's weird that he said slam too, because I didn't tell him that, and that's what happened to me. I slammed back into my body, and it's interesting, to talk to people with near-death experiences when they, you have these similar experiences, but his was different but similar. You know what I mean? Like, we both slammed in our body. They both of the experiences, they were asking about your family, and what they were doing was they were seeing, like, if you were supposed to go back. The only thing different with mine is they also had a conversation with him before they mentioned his family, and they were talking about things of his past, and none of them were good. Okay, it was all the nasty, bad things he did. And this guy was a real, bad guy, I mean, I thought I was, but he has me on that one, he was a real rebel rouser, I guess you would call it. And he wasn't very comfortable, talking about that part of his life. And so, that I thought that was interesting, and I would relate. I thought it was like, this is a good thing to talk about tonight in the room that I'm finally done, and I get to be, back sleeping in here next to a bathroom, and I don't got to walk halfway across the house to go to the bathroom, or sometimes run dance, to get to the bathroom. When you're old, that run dance thing, when you gotta go thing, in the middle of the night. Yeah. Especially when you're passing kidney stones. TMI, I know. But so, then, I was thinking about that. That really got me thinking, that his near death experience and my near death experience, and then that dream where, I woke up, did most of my day, fell back to sleep on a nap, and then fell right back into this dream. And I was thinking, dreams are dreams, and sometimes dreams are visions, and then sometimes there's visions, right, where you're awake and you have a full-blown dreamlike vision. And I was wondering if you guys knew the difference between a dream and a dream vision, or if any of you ever had a vision. And I would love to hear your comments on that. Like, you can leave your comments down. Here we got Renee Cruz. How's it going, Renee, man? Hey, Adolf, everybody. Cy, what's happening? From London, how's it going, my brother? All my brothers and sisters are showing up. Let's see. Iconic lead singer, dead of morbid and mayhem Norwegian black metal bands. Actually died near-death experience at 10 years old. Before committing suicide. Man, you would think he wouldn't commit suicide if he died once. Because really, you're not really afraid of death after you die, because you realize it doesn't hurt, right? Hi, Pam. How are you? And a really good idea on the sander. I'm going to get a palm sander. We will fix the goobers because I can't handle it. How's it going, Bolt Gun? I love that. I love that name, man. Bolt Gun. I love bolt action guns. I've had many, and I love them. I especially like BDLs opposed to ADLs, and I know a lot of people that have no idea what I just said. Hopefully you do. Did you? You talked to Bob Gimlin. I heard Jeffrey talk to Bob Gimlin. That is so cool. I would love to talk to Bob Gimlin. He's a cool guy from what I understand. Yes, bolt action. Like, I had a 1903 A3 30-06 and shortened the barrel down and sported the stock, and it was one of my favorite rifles that I ever owned. And it had the long action, when you cock it, or you know what I'm saying. But it was one of my favorite rifles, and my friend had one too, and he kept his for a long time, the military style, and then finally, he modernized it kind of, and I think he still has his. I don't have any guns left. I'm a gunless, wish I had one guy now. I used to have like over 30 of them. My best collection, the best thing I ever had in my collection was a Winchester, a Weatherby Mark V 300 Magnum, and I had some work done to it, but it was a beautiful rifle. It cost me a lot, but it was one of my favorite ones. It kicked like a mule, and then we had a Winchester 300 H&H also. the cartridges were different. The headspace was different on the cartridges, but I don't want to talk about too much of that because I know I'm going over everybody's head here, on that. They'll have to be looking it up on Google, like, what is he talking about? Headspace. But yeah, big rounds. Actually, they're 30 calibers, the more powder, and a lot of more kick. Yeah, man, I know Adolf. Well, one day you're gonna have to come in when I get all set up, and I'll set a microphone up with you because I would love to talk to you about your visions and stuff like that. I am sure you have had some, and I mean, you have some amazing stories. You're like me, man, all kinds of supernatural, paranormal, everything, And same with Ghost Wolf. But I wanted to talk about a vision. Like, okay, now I talked about dreams, and sometimes I have dreams that are just wackadoodle. They make no sense. They make you break out in a cold sweat, and you can't remember them an hour after you wake up, right? And usually if it's a dream that means something, you can't forget. I mean, little bit by little bit, you will forget as time goes by, but you'll still remember some parts of it if it is meant to be remembered, right? So, but only I had a vision. It was about 6 years ago, and I was actually praying, and I was going through a rough time health-wise, and I was facing another surgery on my leg that's RSD, and I was so afraid. Usually when you have RSD, you don't like them to hit you with a knife again because that's what initially caused the damage the first time. And it can spread, it could get worse, and it did spread, and it did get worse, so my fears were kind of on that. But I was praying, and I was praying in the spirit, and I don't have enough time at this time to talk about praying in the spirit. It's something that I learned to do a long time ago. And now the vision that I had, it was a waking vision. I was awake, okay? And I was talking to God about my surgery, and if I died, like, okay, now I know I'm living on borrowed time. Like something Devin said, do you know why they call the present? Like we're in the present, right? We're not in the past. We're not in the future. We're in the present. Well, they call the present the present because it's a present, right? It's a present to be alive. It's like a present, like you get for Christmas. It's a gift, exactly, to be alive. So I know for me to be alive right now, I know it's a gift. It's a present to be in the present for me. But only I was dealing with something else, and I was wondering, like, I was praying about one thing, but in my mind I was thinking about, like, if I go, and I know where I'm going, okay, did I do enough good stuff? And then I realized it isn't about to get to where I'm going. It isn't about what you did, right? It's about what he did. Like you could be whatever person, and he did something that gives you the key to the other side, the life on the other side, life, okay? But it's not anything you do, right? You can't earn it. You can't work for it, But there is a hierarchy and an award system, and I had no idea, uh, how that works, or anything. Is I mean, that stuff is so in a gray area of knowledge, and unless you experience it, and you got to die to experience it, and most people that get that far don't come back to tell you about it. So there's not a lot about that. So I had this vision, and all of a sudden, I'm sitting on my porch, and I'm praying, and then the next thing I know, I mean, like in a split second, like Adolf said, the speed of light, I'm in a room, a round room. I can't see the walls. Everything is dark, and there's a light that is lighting the people up that are in the room, and they're all standing around podiums in like a half circle around me. And I would be like, there was no podium in front of me. I would have completed the circle, okay? But I had no podium, and everyone else had a podium, and I could sense there was someone standing behind me. And right to my left, the very first person was a little lady, she looked to be in her 80s or 90s, and she wasn't dressed very expensive, very modest clothes. And then there was every kind of race, and also, I guess, class, finance, money class, all the way around. And then to my right was this rich-looking dude, and on the podium, there was these books. Okay, some of them were really little. Like the little lady, she only had 2 little teeny books, just really little, sitting on her podium. And then everybody had different amounts of books. Some people had no books. Okay, like a couple of people didn't have any books at all. They just had a podium. That's it. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't know what the books were for. I had no idea what they were standing there for. The guy to my right, though, that was looking all rich, he had books stacked up taller than me, man. I mean, he had books, really big, fat books, and they were piled high, right? Really high. And I gave that guy, I really looked at his pile of books, because he had more books than anybody. In fact, his books added up to more books than anyone in the whole, all of them added together. He's had more books. Like it was really interesting, So all of a sudden, a voice from above, where the light was coming from, was talking to the people that it was time to judge their works, what they did with their life on earth, what they did. And most of it was how, like, I can't remember the exact terminology, but it was like how you dealt with people, right? Relationships, and what you did with your money and your resources that you had. So the books were keeping track of what you did with your life and what God gave you in that life and what you did with it. And they started with the little old lady, and this bolt of fire came out of the ceiling, and it hit her books, and immediately it turned into all these jewels and diamonds and gold, and it was just like piled up really big, almost rivaling the guy with all the books, right? I mean, she had a pile that was huge, And the guy next to me, he got a big kick out of that. He was like, oh wow, I mean, that really excited him for some reason, and I kept looking at him like, because he seemed, he kept on like going like this, like he was somebody, a big shot, and I mean, that's just how he was being. And the little old lady, she was humble, and everyone else, I wasn't really paying attention to them because of how interesting this rich guy was, right? And then, I watched this bolt of flame come down and it hit everybody's books. Some books turned to ashes. Okay, it would hit and it would just be a pile of ashes. And the voice wasn't explaining anything about, I mean, people were like they knew what was going on, you know what I mean? Like it seemed like they understood that what I didn't understand. And finally it went around to this guy on the left and it hit this guy's books. Okay, all this big pile of books, and I was interested in that anyways. Like some people that had a little bit of books, they had like, a nice pile of whatever, and then some of them had a bigger pile and some of them had ashes. But when I wanted to see what happened to this guy's big giant pile of books, and it hit his books and it turned to ashes. And immediately this guy got indignant, and he was the very first one to voice anything. And he said, wait a minute, this can't be right, this can't be right. I have been preaching and I gave my whole life to the Lord for my whole life, right? I gave up my whole life to pastor a church, and I've worked for you, Lord, all my life. I gave up everything to work for you. And this is not right. Why would my books be ashes, I mean, he was really getting upset. And the little old lady there, she didn't have hardly no books. And look, she has a big pile. I should have 3 times as many gold and jewels that she has, and you turned mine to ashes. This is wrong, And he kept going on and on, and then all of a sudden, this voice interrupts him and tells him, whoa, and he stops, and and the voice tells him, hey, you did, you're not lying. You did serve me as a pastor, and you did have all these things. He goes, look at your shoes that you're wearing. They're $500 shoes, and I was like, $500 shoes? Wow, and I looked at his shoes. Whoa, He's, look at your suit, a $5,000 suit. I was like, 5,000? Geez, 500's not good enough, like that kind of got me a little bit like, dang, dude, $5,000. And then he says, I blessed you your whole life. You have a jet. I'm like, a jet? Like, the dude is wearing all this and he has a jet and 2 giant mansions. One is a vacation home and one is the one he lives in, and they're mansions, multi-million-dollar mansions is what he told the guy. He says, I gave you all this, but what did you do with it? He goes, you got your reward. You got your reward and you used it and enjoyed it right where you were. And you didn't do what the little old lady did. And then he started saying all the things the little old lady did with nothing, right? That's why her books were so little. She didn't have all the resources and money and everything that this guy had, but she did more with her little bit of money than he did. So her rewards were great, right? And I was standing there just in awe, like, whoa, I get it, I get it. And about that time, I was right back sitting on the porch, all by myself. I open my eyes, I'm looking around, I'm like, whoa, What a trip, you know? So that is a vision, right? And that taught me a big lesson too about how with what you have, like you can enjoy things, but when you have abundance, you might want to like use it while you're here. You can't take it with you, but you can earn things on you can earn more with it, like an investment, like stocks and bonds or something like that. You can invest it into the kingdom that you're going to after this life, because you don't die. You become more alive than you are here. And so that, no, actually he went to heaven. All the people standing there was going to heaven. They made it to heaven. And some of them didn't look like that. Like, okay, now this comes to the second part of my vision, okay? Like that vision really got me. And there was one person that was just like directly in front of me in the circle that didn't look like he should be going to heaven to me, right? I mean, like he had tattoos on his face and his head was shaved and he had leather ever on and tattoos. And I mean, he just looked like mean old biker dude, you know, like, but he was going to heaven. And he even had, his thing wasn't ashes. He actually had some jewels and stuff too, you know, I'm like, how did he get there? You know, like, so, you know, right away I went into another vision. As soon as I started asking questions about this guy, and immediately there's this guy standing in front of me, and it's all dark all around me, and just this dude standing there, and it like had a light shining on him, but there was no light. You know what I mean? Somehow he was just lit up where I could see him. And then the voice behind me says, so you think that he looks like that he can't go to heaven, you know? And I was thinking, he looks like he's been in and out of prison. You know, the tattoos, he probably killed some people, you know, that's what was running through my mind. And he goes, so that's what you see? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I see, you know, and I don't understand. And about that time, right in the middle of his chest, right here, a little light came on, right where his heart would be, like right there. And all of us, and it started getting brighter and brighter, and it overtook his whole body until it looked like this glimmering being, like light being, standing in front of me. And it was beautiful. Like I couldn't see the guy anymore. He was just a light being standing there. And God said, that's what I see. You know, and I was like, whoa. You know, and then I'm like, that's what you see with everyone? He goes, I don't create anything that's not perfect. Everything I create is perfect. And what you're seeing is a perfect creation that can go to heaven. That's what I see. I go, that's what I look like to you? And he said, yes. He goes, everyone looks like that to me. I don't create anything not perfect. He told me that the spirit and soul is perfect creation. The only problem is the flesh is cursed, but somebody came and fixed that, right? Somebody came back and bought that part of it back, that curse back. That is done. That's over. But we still see it, and we go by what we see. And he said, if you look in my book, you'll find in there where I tell you not to look at the things around you. Keep your eyes on me and only me, and don't judge people, right? And all of a sudden I was sitting back in my, you know, I was like back to myself again, and just absolutely tripping out. And I went and got the book, and I remember reading those things, and sure enough, that's what's written in there. And so after that, it made it easier for me to overlook a lot of things. Like, I know that I did not pick what I look like or my hair color. I wasn't sitting there going, I want brown eyes and a nice butt, and give me some man boobs. Like, I didn't get to pick, and I want my mom to be blonde and my dad to be, 7 foot. Nobody gets to pick that. Nobody. You, at least as far as I know, you don't, So it isn't for us to judge. It is for us to use what we have and what we are to further, like, spread love to everyone, no matter what, and not judge. And it's something that when I was a heathen, I didn't have any problem passing judgment on people, and even maybe dishing out a little bit of punishment. You know what I mean? Like, that came very easily to me as I was growing up. I was a heathen, completely. But only now, that's a vision, okay? That's a vision. Now, my buddy Devin, and I think Ghost Wolf, I've talked to him quite often about these kinds of things too. They can see things we can't see. Like, I can't see spirits or angels or bad angels or good angels. I can't see demons. I can sense things near me and I can hear things, but I don't see things very often, like maybe a vision or something, but I'm not a daily occurrence like Ghost Wolf and Devin does. Devin is the same like Ghost Wolf. They see things, and I don't even know how they would deal with it. Maybe that's why I don't see things. I have something else, like a different gift of empathy. Like, I can feel people's feelings. And like, if I get into a room where there's a lot of people, even though they might be smiling and laughing and stuff and having a good time, but if they're all dealing with really harsh problems, and maybe somebody's thinking suicide or hurting someone, going, and getting revenge or whatever, I pick up on that kind of stuff real fast. And I don't see anything. And I can pick out which person and all that, I have that. And it is a curse, man. Like, sometimes what's really bad is something's really hurt, you know what I mean? Like, inside of you, you makes your emotions run kind of wild. And like, sometimes when my wife makes fun of me because I'll be watching a movie and the emotions, and that's what they're trying to do in the movie anyways, is make you feel emotions. Well, it'll really affect me because I'm not thinking of it as the movie, but in real life, a lot of times those situations happen. Otherwise, they wouldn't be making movies with that in it. You know what I mean? And I'll be reacting to the actual real life situation, emotion, or things that hurt people, or people committing suicide, or drug addicts that can't quit, and alcoholics that lose everything, their families. And I mean, I get really intense emotional, and I'll like shed a tear once in a while, and my wife just smiles at me, like, not again, oh my God. At the same time, though, I also can feel joy, and I get like that rubs off on me too. So at least there's a balance, you know what I mean? But only it does get extreme every so often. In fact, one day I want to get Chris on here. Maybe one day he can stop in too. We can actually sit and talk about this. Because Chris sees some things too, and it's really interesting. I don't know what he just said, but it looks like people are going, whoa. Oh man, that's kind of a bummer. Bolt gun. She could beat the cancer, though. You guys could beat it. Even though sometimes people don't make it, and I don't understand that, but sometimes they're done, here, and they're going there, but they're not dead. They're more alive than we are, and we'll be reunited at, to them like a blink of an eye. To us, it might seem like eternity, before we get there. But I pray for people all the time. I'll be driving along and see people, and I could be driving along and see somebody on the side of the road walking, like pushing their baby carriage or whatever with their kid in it, and immediately pick up on what's going on with that person, and I'll start praying for them like right away, especially like if there's bad things going on in their life. A little bit harder, like if I'm reading chat, it's hard to tell. People have different kinds of names than their real names and stuff like that, so it doesn't work too good like that. But only that's a little bit of what I wanted to talk about. Like I don't know if you guys have stories you want to share like that. I would love, like, you can write them out to me if you don't want to talk. Call in. I'll have a call in day one day once I get all set up and can put the phone in, and we can actually sit and chat about these things, because I'm interested. This is paranormal and this is real, and I think that things like that needs to be talked about and understood. One of the things that for me is that helps me carry on every day through chronic pain, that the disease I have, they call the suicide disease, and I've already lost 5 close friends that I met through this disease that have it, and they committed suicide, and they call it the suicide disease. And one of the things, though, that I always try to tell them, I've talked 3 people out of it, though, because it would have been 8, okay, but I talked 3 out of it. The one thing that you can count on is change. The one constant in life is change, right? Nothing stays the same, okay? For a little while, it might be really bad and you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but if you hang on, it will change, and you'll have good days and bad days and up and down and up and down, So you can always count on change. And that's the one thing I hold on to, is that, That's a trip, Renee. Wow. Yeah, it's totally paranormal, Ghost Wolf. The Bible is totally paranormal, like translating and all kinds of stuff, Yeah, so I have other friends, and they call it precognition dreams. So they have dreams, okay? Only they're kind of like visions, only they're futuristic. And they get shown usually disasters and stuff like that. And they call them precog or precognition dreams, and they don't know when, it could be years out, or it could be days, it could be tomorrow, like they don't know, and I guess sometimes it's like if they have it over and over, like every night, the same one, that would be it's going to be soon, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't have precog dreams, but at least I don't think I do. I'm not sure. But it's a very interesting topic, and I think a lot of people. I think we're born. I think we were created. Let me say it that way. We're created with abilities that our bodies have lost, and some people. I think that the times that we're living in, the veil is getting thin between this reality and the other reality. And so more and more of this kind of stuff is starting to happen, like there's more UFOs, and there's more Bigfoots. I mean, oh my gosh, the Bigfoots are off the hook now. And then wolfmen, and I mean, just everything is more, right? I mean, everything. Knowledge is running off the hook due to computers. I mean, just everything is like going like crazy. Like Hawaii right now is going off the hook. Everybody pray for people in Hawaii. I mean, they're freaking out. The place is rocking and rolling, and volcanoes is spewing, and the people that aren't near volcanoes are worried about tsunamis. I mean, it's off the hook over in Hawaii. So everybody pray for the people in Hawaii, and the tsunamis could go, past Hawaii. So it's a really interesting time that we're living in. And I actually believe that if we think on and are open to these things, that we can develop these things that we were inherently created with, that the curse took away from us, right? But I believe they're not totally gone. I believe that we just over a millennia we've like lost our way. But only I believe that in this time that we're living right now, it's easier to find your way back if you so inclined to be. A lot of people, though, they keep their self down by, that's all. I actually believe that you speak what's happening around you in advance. Like if you're running around mumbling and grumbling all the time, pretty much that's what, if you always do what you always do, you always get what you always got, right? So if you change what you always do and maybe start speaking more positive things around yourself and keep that up for a little while, then your results that you always get might change, and you won't always get what you always got. You will change the result, and more good things will come your way if you change that little dynamic, But I think we're living in those times where even more so than ever, Man, that's cool, Adolf. That is really cool. Yeah, see, that's another thing, Bolt Gun, is that's one of the things that we're actually, that's what's being fought by President Trump right now. Is it's actually evil that they've been in charge for a long time, and the problem is they have been above the law and programming people with the news and schools and television and radio and actually peer pressure and stuff like that, political correctness. I mean, we actually, a lot of times we police our own selves, right? to keep everyone in line. If we're not normal, then everyone reminds you where your place is and how it's supposed to be, right? We are being programmed like that, and maybe even more than we even know with these frequencies, right? When they got a hold of Tesla's stuff, they realized frequencies did a lot of things. Like our brains are on frequencies, and our body, our heart has a frequency. I mean, we run on frequencies too. So when they realized that and they started measuring these frequencies, they could create devices to interrupt the frequency in your brain or your heart, or your body. And I think that's why a lot of diseases and sickness and addictions and all that, I think that it's from these guys messing with the frequencies. I mean, like smart meters around your house, and everything that they have is all smart, right? Smart meters, smartphones, smart. I mean, like, I think it's smart, but only it's dumbing us up, messing us, scrambling everything, and maybe even killing us slowly but surely. But I know, like, I've never in all my life seen anything like I've seen. Like, have you ever seen a president get attacked like this president? I mean, even Obama, I mean, people got after him, but nobody got, not everything he did, every word, every movement, I mean, this guy day and night, and I mean, he can't do anything. I never seen that in my life. I mean, the media has made it an agenda to make his life a living hell. Congress, I mean, people, colleges, I mean, they're going crazy. I mean, it's a crazy world right now. I wonder if maybe they're sending a frequency out using cell towers and stuff like that is like programming people without them even knowing it. You know what I mean? Like, just like giving you ideas and stuff like that. Maybe some of our visions that we think we're getting aren't visions. Maybe they're running a frequency that plays like a movie in your mind. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just an interesting time to be in. Hi, Lucky Chuck. How's it going, man? Yeah, you're right, Pam. Electronics in school, we studied waveforms, airwaves, all that. Yeah, it is so amazing. Well, actually, we have a part to play in it. Our prayers. I actually believe that there is a war in a realm that's right here, like, that we can't see. Okay, and you can ask Chris. Some people can see it, like Devin, the guy I was telling you that had the NDE, and Chris, and some other people I know. They can actually see these things. Some of them scary. I mean, it'll just the sight of it'll scare you to death, But there's a war going on all around us, and I think it's spilling over into this realm, and that's what's causing all this, some of this stuff on inside our realm, But this unseen realm is having a battle as well, and I think our prayers and the way we treat people, our intentions and stuff like that, have a lot to do with who wins, in both. Like, what do they say? Ancient Aliens says it, as it is above or so below or whatever, right? That in all the writings, I believe that's, I think there's a lot of truth to that, It already is. It already is. Flash can. It already is, man. I think we're winning, really. I really believe we're winning. Only the media is painting the picture that we're not winning. They're winning. But only they're scrambling, man. And I actually believe we're winning, but they're not going to tell us that on the media. So don't even don't look at that. You know what I mean? Go by what you're feeling inside. Go by your gut. Your gut will tell you what's really going on. And we should vote too. Like when we vote, we should vote for not this deep dark state or whatever they want to call their shadow government. We should try to figure out who these guys are and not vote for them. I know that our buddy Kaiser, I haven't seen him on, but he was on BZ's show last night. I missed most of it because Sonic's has milkshakes for 50% off after 8 o'clock, right? So I'm a cheap date, you know. Yeah, Sword Point, you know, he talks about that, and they're like these guys that the president's only going to be there 8 years, but then there's these generals and people that run the government, lifers, right? They got appointed into their job or, you know, hired into it, and it's business as usual, and they're going to continue to rape us and hurt us because they have power, right? And they probably think they have more power than the president. They think they're above the law. Those are the guys we got to get rid of. And that's the ones we need to be praying about pray them out, right? Get them out of here. We need to start voting for people that want to get rid of, not do these things, you know, really, truly. And it's going to be hard because I actually believe in the past years, they set us up. I mean, they gave us bad and badder. You know what I mean? We never had good selection ever. It was always there. It didn't matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat or whatever. You know, your selection was the same result because we haven't seen any changes in freaking years. You know, and I'm nearly 60 years old, so I've seen a lot of politicians, you know, and the way things go, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and it doesn't matter who's in there. Finally, though, and I wasn't his big fan at all, was Trump came along, and just by what he's doing, I mean, I didn't believe what he was saying. I didn't believe what Obama was saying. I haven't believed what Bush was saying. I hardly even could believe what Reagan was saying, right? I mean, he did do some things, but I think he didn't have enough backing or, you know, to get anything done. And then he was doing stuff because they tried to take him out, right? Remember, he got shot. I remember when he got shot. So he did try, but they put him under their thumb, you know, and they said, you know, if you want to live, dude, they almost got him, you know. And after that, I think he backpedaled a little bit on some of the stuff. But Trump, I don't think he is. I think he has the military backing him. I think that, you know, I think he's going for it. And this is all supernatural, okay? There's a supernatural component to this. These guys are like demon Satan worshipers and child pedophilia maniacs, eat babies. I mean, it's bad, right? It's so bad, I don't think they could tell us everything. I don't think we can handle it. But the Bible says that in these days, men's hearts would fail from the fear of what they were seeing going on around them. That's what it says. And I'm saying we might be living during that time, you know? We might be living during that time. I mean, how many people die of heart attacks? I might even have 4 heart stents. Maybe I should stop looking around so much, you know? Yeah, Donald Marshall said that. He sure did. And we interviewed Donald Marshall like 3 times. I've talked to him at great length. Only I got unfriended by Donald Marshall because I was standing up for, he was actually trashing some people that really follow him. And he was pulling the "you haven't read all my stuff," and they were just asking honest questions, but they didn't go back and read all his history. And I understand it gets old if you've said it 100 zillion times, but it doesn't give you the right to trash talk people and say mean bad things to them just because they don't understand. You just got to say it 1,000,001 more times, right? And so I got unfriended because I stood up for a couple of people and he unfriended me, even though I still like the guy and I believe that he went through a lot of stuff. Sometimes I wonder how much is programming on him and how much is not programming. Because when you're in as deep as Donald Marshall, you have been programmed, or tried to program you. And he fought the programming, but you wonder how much of what they were telling him that he believes is true is not true. You know what I mean? Because whatever these things are, they don't tell the truth. That's what I found out about aliens. They lie. They total lie. They've been lying forever. You could go back and study and research alien speak and what they say, and they never tell the truth. So I don't trust them. Only because of that. Like their story changes all the time, and it changes to their benefit all the time. So, like, if it's a lie, then I can't trust it. Yeah, exactly, Lucky, exactly. And sometimes I wonder about Bigfoot too. I actually wonder about Bigfoot on that. Well, I'm not judging them. I'm just saying, they lie. So I'm more like discerning if I should trust them or not. And there's a lot of people I don't even trust because they speak with forked tongue. One minute they're saying one thing and the next minute they're saying another thing, and it's whatever's convenient. And you know how it is. Yeah, usually Donald Marshall says the bad things when he's drunk. And hey, I know he had bad things happen to him. And I used to be like that too. Heck, I got drunk and tried to run 30 people over with a car, and I wound up in jail for 30 counts of attempted manslaughter with a vehicle. And luckily, the gang that I was chasing around didn't want to press charges. They wanted to get me, on their turf and on their terms. And the district attorney thought the best punishment I could get was letting me go and let them deal with me. So, I was, that's how I got out of it. Otherwise, I would probably be in prison right now, not doing this. There's years I can't remember. I remember leaving and going out to the bar and making it to the bar, but I don't remember the last 5 bars that I was in. I don't remember going home, and I surely never remember winding up in jail, just waking up there, or coming to there. I never remember going, though, ever. So I was a bad guy when it came to that. Luckily, that's when I changed. That's when I found God, really. I was sitting out there going, you know what? I can't stop. I tried. I was losing my life, my wife. I lost my jobs. I had 3 jobs. I lost all of them. My friends were telling me, get the heck out of here. You're nothing but trouble. Every time you show up, the cops show up, stuff like that. And I couldn't stop. I could not stop. And that's when I asked God, hey, God, if you're real, you got to help me because I can't stop. And the very next day, I stopped. From that time on, I haven't had a problem. And I even remember the day, April 26th, 1986. That was the day. And ever since then, April 26th, 1986, very interesting. I wasn't a Hell's Angel, but I was a Hellion. I was a Hell on Wheels, whatever you want to say. Yep. Yeah, I don't like the odds of that one either, Adolf. You could keep it in there. Maybe you can defuse it or something, you know? Maybe you could defuse it. Well, I know one thing, I am like freaking whooped. All this work has got me. I wish I was like young and healthy and all that. I would have knocked this out so easy. But it's taken me a long time to get this thing done. I am so proud that I got it done with my wife's help. She helped me a lot. She was there for me, you know, backing me up and giving me encouraging words and feeding me. And, you know, if it wasn't for her, I would not have been able to do this. She's my rock. She helps me a lot. How's it going, Fire Dude? Long time no see, man. Actually, long time no see. I see any of you. I've been so busy. I apologize. Uh, I get so tired that I wind up, you know, I have good intentions and everything, and I don't want to say, oh, I'm gonna go live, you know, because I'm afraid that I'll fall asleep, you know. Today I didn't do a whole lot of painting. I only had a little bit left, you know, so I'm tired, but I'm not falling asleep tired. And I don't want to make promises I can't keep. That's something that I'm good for my word, you know, and that I don't think a lot of people don't go by their word anymore, and that's something that I go by. You know, if I give you my word, then you can count on it, just like it going to you can take it to the bank, you know. And if I let you down, usually it's because it was totally out of my control. But only I try very hard. I've learned, like, the disability I have. I used to make promises I couldn't keep, and it wasn't because I didn't mean to. It was because I just couldn't, you know. And I've learned to not promise so much that I can't, you know, fulfill what I say. So that means, you know, I'm stuck like Chuck on some things, you know. Oh, that would be cool. I don't know if he'll make it though. If he can make it out here, what time are you guys gonna try? He's really enjoying hanging out with his daughter and working out and stuff. So I mean, he's trying to get healthy. He's looking more healthy, but he I guess he didn't really get to hang with his daughter for a long time. So him and her are making up for lost time, and it's really beautiful to watch. Yeah, I'll let him know. I'll tell him to get a hold of you. He knows to how to get a hold of you, right? Bye, Pam. I see somebody saying bye to Pam. Bye. I love all you guys. I really do. I really mean it too. That is not empty words. Those are real. You guys are really like hanging with me this long, and I haven't been putting out videos or anything, and I know I should be, just can't do everything, you know. And like right now, it's like last time. I have a kitchen chair sitting in front of me. I got my monitor and my camera on top of that, my keyboard on that, and then I have this crate right here with the mixer. I have the microphone connected to the chair, you know, and I have everything boxed up. So when I get done, just so that, because I don't have any curtains on the windows, I don't want the tweakers that ride by going to the recycle place every day. I don't want him to look in the window and see this stuff and then I'll get robbed. So I have to pack it all up and put it away so that they won't just be able to rob me. But I definitely, once I get all set up, I'll be on here probably every day. You'll probably have to tell me, go away, shut up. Yeah, so I covered the dreams and the visions and the near-death experiences. There isn't a whole lot to say about dreams except for the precog stuff, and I don't know much about it. All I know is sometimes dreams mean things. They have meaning, and I'm getting to the point now, like I don't dream, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to start writing my dreams down. This morning I was having some dreams, real vivid ones, and my phone was okay. Check this out. I was having this dream, and I knew it was really important what was in the dream, real important. And I had my phone sitting next to me, but everything was turned off. And it actually did a beep that it was like confirmation that I was supposed to remember. And I wasn't really asleep either. I was aware of my surroundings, and I was laying there, and it did it 3 times at 3 separate times. And it was an actual audible beep, and it couldn't beep because it was dead. And I know it wasn't the dead beep either, that your phone's going to die, because it had no volume on. Usually it'll just sit there and go bzz, bzz, but no audible. And I never heard that beep ever. And I was trying to recreate it afterwards. I have no idea what it was. It was just freaking me out a little bit. And I thought, man, I need to write this dream down. And I remembered it for about 3. I can remember the gist of it, but I can't remember details already. I'm too tired. And by 3 hours, I already was losing it, losing what the dream was. And I wish I'm going to have to start putting a notebook next to the bed. And when I have these, especially when they're making my phone audibly beep when it's totally dead, I mean, it has no battery life whatsoever, off completely, and it beeps 3 times. I mean, that I better write that one down, right? And I know it tripped me out. There's something about that, about the going over the cliff. That means something, actually. I had a dream book. Man, I was having a dream about 4 nights ago that my leg was swollen and my foot was swollen and my and it was bugging me, and I kept dreaming that I was in these positions where I couldn't sit down and get the weight off my foot, and it was just swelling and swelling really big, in my dream. And it was getting so bad, people were noticing it in my dream, like, dude, wow, look at that, your ankle's all swollen. And when I woke up, my leg was hurting and my ankle was a little bit swollen, and it was hurting just as bad as in the dream. And I think that the dream was only because the pain was getting through, you know what I mean? It was getting through to my conscious. And oh man, I woke up and I had to have my leg up for a little while and to get the swelling down so I could get back to work in here. But yeah, I hate the pain dreams. If I usually have dreams, that's the ones I have. And when I wake up, I'm usually in pain in the places that I'm in pain in the dream. No fun at all. But I think that there's some things like when you're driving and you can't stop, like the brakes don't work, things like that. There's some meanings to those, So like you might check online and check that out. There's some meanings to those. And usually it's something in your life is out of control, or you feel like you're going off a cliff or something like that. Usually that's what it is, something like that. The LVM mobsters? Luzon. Oh, yeah, I bet they do. Over there, I bet they keep everybody paying, huh? You can stay in business as long as you pay your dues or whatever. And you stay off their turf. Yeah, yeah, check that out. You'd be surprised. It might mean something like it'll when you read what some of the meanings are, because not there's like several different meanings, and usually they're related. You know what I mean? But only you might be able to figure out what it is in your life that needs to be dealt with, and you'll stop having those dreams. Things like that. Yeah, protection, huh? Yeah. My wife was having one. She kept having one where the brakes don't work when she's driving, and the car would go faster and faster and faster, and the brakes don't work. And we figured out that there was a situation that she was in that she didn't have any control over, and she couldn't stop the situation. You know what I mean? It was like just gonna go, and there was no control, and she couldn't stop it. But it actually, when she realized what the situation was that was causing the dreams, she was able to change how she was dealing with it, and the dream stopped. But it actually helped her too, because she wasn't so upset and things like that when she understood. Well, you guys, I think I pretty much covered it. I hope you enjoyed everything. I really enjoyed sitting chatting with you guys. I missed a lot of the chat because I was talking so much, but I enjoyed what I did read and where I interacted. I hope you enjoyed what I was talking about, because a lot of that was coming from my heart and experience, and I really mean it too, that I care about you guys. The visions and dreams and stuff that I've had usually deal with how I deal with people and where I'm going wrong, and how I can help more people. And I feel like that's like my calling, kind of. And I want to follow up on that and continue to do this, because I actually feel like this is my calling, really. I truly do. In fact, I like to say, that I'm not in it for the money or anything. I really am not. It would be nice, to have extra money, because I make less than $1,000 a month, and Social Security, that's all I have. And so I mean, like, I live broke. You know what I mean? And when I first started YouTube, that was my full intention. But then it was so fun, and interacting with everybody was so great, and making new friends all around the world too, like Scotland and England and everywhere. These people were telling me, set up a Patreon account, right? Set up a Patreon account. And then I noticed some of you, I set up a Patreon account, and I didn't understand it, how it works or anything. But then I noticed that a couple of people pledged $1 a month, right? And at first I'm like, gee, that's not very much, $1 a month. But then I thought, that's $1 more than I had. And, if I get a lot of friends and they all go to Patreon, and maybe $1 isn't very much to them like it is me, maybe everybody could pledge $1, or the ones that can pledge. I'm not saying go pledge $1. I'm just saying $1 a month. Hey, if enough people put it on there, I might be able to fix my car and be able to travel a little bit, things like that. And it would be nice, really nice, instead of having $8 a month left over to figure out that's my spending spree money. Maybe I might have $100. I know I used to earn a little bit on YouTube, but they knocked that out. I'm making about $8 a month off YouTube, and they don't pay until you make 100, or you have added up to 100. And here recently, I got 100. I was so shocked, like, where did that 100 come from? And it was YouTube, and it took 6 months before I made $100, and nothing really's changed. The views are all the same. Everything's all really the same. It's their policies changed. And I guess that's why there's Patreon or whatever, however you call it. But I want to thank the ones that have went and committed to the Patreon. You guys rock. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you guys that even come and hang out with me. I know you don't have to. I think that's just great that you even do. I pray for all of you. I feel a deep connection with everyone, even the ones that just listen. And I love your comments and stuff. I like to interact all the way, even the ones that don't catch me live and they comment and stuff. I'll still interact. I'll never shut off my comments. Okay, you guys are great, and I'm loving this stuff. I can't wait to get in the other room where I can do this more often and on a regular basis. I know that it hurts. Like if I was doing this like, a business or whatever, that is bad business. You know what I mean? Not doing it regular. And I get reminded all the time by some people like, hey, that's bad for business. Well, I'm not in business. I'm actually enjoying this. This is like a hobby and having fun and interacting with everyone and making friends everywhere. I like having friends. I'm a social guy, right? I like social, and I mean that's why I was the marketing director at the casino. I like people and hanging out with people, and interacting with people. That's what that job is. If you're that type of person, go get a job at the casino as a marketing director. You will enjoy yourself to the max. They'll have to tell you to go home because it's so fun, and party, and mingling and going everywhere, and games and concerts and everything, and everything's free for the marketing director. But yeah, I love it, and I like when you guys comment on here, like the things that your life things. I like learning about people. I hopefully that you learn that you learn about me, not learn things, but learn about me as much. I'm open like a book, and I like it when people open up and I learn things about them, and it makes it more like we're really, really, truly, truly friends. And we, the ones that just sit and listen and stuff like that, that's cool and everything. I'm glad you do, but I really like interaction. I thrive on it, and when I get in this thing set up where I could just walk in and turn the switch on and go, I'm going to be having a really good time with you guys. And I want to bring people in that has really interesting stuff and interact with them, and we'll all interact with the chat. Hopefully I'll set up a big TV as a monitor, and like I know the people around me like Adolf and other people come in and sit with me, and we'll just hang out. I'm not doing it for any other reason, to hang out and enjoy ourselves and like a hangout. What's cool is we can hang out from anywhere in the world. The internet makes it where, we could turn this on and hang out like if we were sitting around a table or something like that. And I think that is so awesome, really awesome. And get to know people. Like I know some people in Holland that I only met through this, and they're really good friends. And I got people all over the place. Really, they're friends on Facebook and everything, and we interact and chat. They're really my friends, and I want everybody to be really, really my friends. I don't care how many there is of you. I have time, and I have time to be friends with everyone, and that's my goal. bring interesting stuff that I think is interesting and find out what's interesting to you guys and talk about those things. I mean, let's just hang out and be having a good time all the time, talking about stuff that interests us, all kinds of things. And I'm enjoying the heck out of it. And I'm tired, and now I'm starting to go on and on. I'm so sorry, you guys. But I want you to know, last thing, I'm praying for you all you guys. I'm praying for your finances. I'm praying for your family life. I'm praying for your job life. I'm praying for your health. Everything, everything in your life, every aspect, I pray abundant blessings in every area of your life. And I don't care what your belief is, or it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It means that I'm sending positive vibes on every aspect of your life, and every single one of you within earshot of me right now. Abundant blessings on every little nook and cranny of your life, your children, your grandchildren, your bank account, your car, your job, your health, your mental health, your relationship with your wife or girlfriend or family or friends, just everything abundant. And I pray that for every single person that could hear my voice right now. And I love all of you so much you don't even know. You probably can't even imagine. God gave me a little more time to be on this earth, and I'm spending it like this, and I'm enjoying the heck out of it, and I'm not going to stop. And I hope you all have like a really good weekend coming up. Today's Friday. I think today's Friday, right? Do I have it right? Or is it Thursday? I mean, I even forget what day it is. Nope, it's Friday. So have a really good weekend. Have an abundantly fun, enjoyable weekend. And try to stay positive, speak positive things in your life. And I'll see you guys real soon.